Good evening. Rick Mortimer's on assignment tonight doing something important. I'm Bob Brunner, who just came to Magoffin County for food and ended up getting to fill in.
If this doesn't get your motor running, you need a new motor. JJ's Burgers and Beer is now serving breakfast and burgers. 99-cent breakfast sandwiches, BLTs, platters starting at $3.99 with sausage, bacon, chicken, pork tenderloin, or bologna. Oh my goodness. And it's all just as over-the-top tasty as their gourmet-style burgers, wings, and pizza. And you can have it all, breakfast or lunch, anytime, Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. That's breakfast and lunch all day. Dine in, drive through, and fuel up your other motor before you leave. JJ's Burgers and Beer at Speedy's in Sayersville. Call the pros. All Pro Gutter Works specializes in seamless gutters, vinyl siding, metal roofing, replacement doors and windows, remodeling or adding on to your home with free and fair estimates backed by decades of happy and return customers with guaranteed satisfaction and 18 months 0% financing. All Pro Gutter Works. 349-9999. Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for starting off the post-Thanksgiving week of programming with me. A little shocked, a little surprised, a little curious about that intro? Well, I can certainly understand why. That takes a lot of us back. I don't want to date he or I or any of us, but it takes us back. Bob Brunner has wonderfully been a friend of the family since I was a very small boy, and he was in over Thanksgiving and graciously agreed to sit down and do a little interview with me here at this desk and kind of get caught up on where he's been after his retirement and years at SAZ. It's a great interview that I'll share in part, if not in its entirety, in just a few moments. And he, of course, also did that great little intro for me. So, things are going to carry on as normal around here. I did try to talk him into sticking around, maybe subbing for me sometimes, and he understandably had no interest in any part of that. Bigger and better things going on in Bob Brunner's world. But what a wonderful conversation it's going to be in a few minutes. You know, he was a mainstay for Eastern Kentucky news and a lot of Magoffin County news back when I was growing up in the 70s and 80s. WSAZ, we only had a select number of channels at that time, and they were one of the select few who came into Eastern Kentucky on a regular basis covering the news, the important news. And my mother was actually a part of that, and as you'll hear in a few seconds, that might be how this actually came to be for myself. Not might. That's how it all came to be for myself. So, a great interview with Bob Brunner in just a few moments. I have to get straight into headlines. We have a lot of other news to work in tonight before I'm out the door to the first ball game of the season. I'll talk about that in just a few seconds. Let's talk briefly about Omicron. Besides Thanksgiving and turkey, that's what we've heard about this weekend. And President Biden today did make a statement saying that the new variant of coronavirus is right now a cause for concern, just not a cause for panic. That is the same sentiment that's being echoed by health officials locally, statewide, and all across the country that I've heard from or talked to today. Right now, there's no shutdowns, no lockdowns in place or planned for the United States. But of course, just last week, the government and the president restricted travel from South Africa and a total of 7 other countries over this widely and heavily mutated variant of coronavirus called Omicron. They right now are just waiting to see. No cause for panic because they're trying to determine just how resistant to vaccines it could be, how transmissible it could be. Over the course of the weekend, the World Health Organization said it still is not clear as to its intensity yet on those or in those areas. I can tell you, however, that in listening to some health officials from Britain earlier today, one of the countries that it is in, that early indications, they say that early indications are that Omicron may be more transmissible than Delta and that vaccines may be less effective than Delta. We'll keep an eye on it. Local COVID numbers, statewide, and more in just a few moments. The governor was in Eastern Kentucky today, real quickly, confirming money that we had already known of. He was actually in Floyd County awarding about $2.5 million to help with projects in Floyd, Johnson, and here in Magoffin counties. In Magoffin County, about $311,000 going for water lines to about 65 homes on 542, 1502, Jake Fork, and Route 378 here in Magoffin County. And he also confirmed another $55,000 that I spoke of earlier in days past to extend sewer lines along Route 30 from 460 all the way to the Mountain Parkway. That's about another 30 households which will have sewer service in the relatively near future. With that said, still at this time, not one, as I told you on Wednesday, but two robberies in Eastern Kentucky here in Magoffin County and in one of our neighboring counties, which have at least right now one similar tie under investigation. Going back to last Wednesday, around 3:30, 4 o'clock or so here in Magoffin County, as I told you before I left you for the Thanksgiving break, a robbery at the Royalton Dollar General Store. Authorities responding after a call came in that a man had walked into the Dollar General store wearing sunglasses and a hat obscuring his face, handed the employee there a note claiming that he had a gun, demanding the money in the register, some of which he did get before leaving. Leaving the scene in what we knew at the time was a dark blue Chevrolet S10 pickup truck with the license plates that had been covered or obscured. When I left you on Wednesday, again for the break, authorities were reviewing security surveillance footage and video to try to find out more. The following day, on Thanksgiving Thursday, the Floyd County Sheriff's Department got a call after around 10 till 6 in the eastern portion, the community of Eastern in Floyd County. The Zip Zone gas station there was robbed, this time, however, at gunpoint. But there is at least one similarity to the two robberies. Authorities have not confirmed they are searching for the same suspect or suspects in this matter, but here's what we know. That in this case, a female came into the Zip Zone claiming that she had a gun and that she was going to kill everyone there. Employees gave her an undisclosed amount of money, and she left, possibly in a blue S10 pickup truck. A similar matching description for the getaway vehicle. That vehicle, in this particular instance, headed toward the Hippo area of Floyd County. Deputies there at last report reviewing the security video of that store as well. There were no injuries. There was no gunfire. There was nothing else but the threat of having a gun. And that, of course, following the Magoffin County robbery, where too that dark blue S10 pickup truck, a 2000s model, a round body for car buffs, as we would probably more often refer to it. And that's all the details we have right now. I spoke to local officials who said that they had no major leads in their case as of just earlier this afternoon. So they're asking for anyone who has any information about seeing someone in that area at that time, or possibly having knowledge about a vehicle that matches that description, to call the Magoffin County Sheriff's Department or the Floyd County Sheriff's Department. Now let's talk COVID numbers locally and for the state as a whole. Let's begin with Magoffin County, where today has started off on a high note after cases have been a bit back and forth over the past couple of weeks respectively. Parkway Pharmacy, as always, promises the quickest service with the very best care and prices, and to always have someone there to talk to when you have a question. With 3 pharmacists, curbside, drive-through, and call-ahead service. Parkway Pharmacy in Sayersville, 349-4400.
Where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one.
Nostalgic or historic or whatever you want to call that feeling you get when you walk in and sit down at the counter and get a scoop of ice cream or a hot dog with sauce while your hometown pharmacist gets your prescriptions ready. Whatever it is, it's still here at Fraser's Prater Drug. Only better, with everything from Jelly Bellies to fresh popcorn to hot and cold gourmet coffees, even hot fudge cakes and banana splits. Fraser's Prater Drug hasn't forgot how important the little things in life are, and they don't want you to either. Stop and see them. They're just a couple of doors down from another Sayersville gym, the Seasonal Shop. Top right of your screen, going back to Saturday, Sunday, and today. The McGoffin County Health Department confirming 8 cases on Saturday, 3 on Sunday, but a total of 20 cases today. Of those 20 cases reported just today, it's my understanding that they break down with 16 of those being adults, 4 of them being children. 5 of those were breakthrough cases. As for how this week is stacking up, well, to the top right of your screen, going back to the first full week of November, the 6th to the 12th, we had 49 cases. Then remember, the following week it ballooned, exploded to 114 cases here in McGoffin County. Last week, with all the math in, all the numbers in, over the course of Thanksgiving, we fell back down to 40 for the 20th through the 26th. However, as you look, we are at 31 for the week with just 3 days in. So Thanksgiving likely had something to do with that lower number for last week. Active cases, 63, bottom left of your screen. Our hospitalization number, however, has increased. We have been at 0 to 1 to 2 for weeks. We're back up to 5 as of right now. I have no report of any of those individuals being on a ventilator, but we do have 5 McGoffin Countyans hospitalized at this time. As for our positivity rating, or our incident rate rather, we're down to 43.5 today. We were at 70.5 on Wednesday of last week, so that is certainly good news. A little more good news, the number of red counties is down. I think we had as many as 86 in the red last week. Today we have a total of 72, so we're seeing fewer counties in the red or critical zone as a result. And McGoffin County down to 43.5 is no longer among the very highest, but still well above many other of the red counties. And you see our neighbors there, as we have Martin and Floyd, Lawrence, Wolf Breathitt all in the red with us. Johnson, however, down to 22.5, Morgan 11.8, and in the orange. So some good and bad news with those numbers, which is, I guess, as good of a segue as I'm going to get going into state numbers for today. As for numbers just released from the governor's office, well, they are less than 1,000 for today. 943, deaths 14. But it's our positivity rating at 8.14% today that has seen the biggest increase. We are now as well watching that closely as the governor, as our local health officials, as is the nation as a whole, what the Omicron variant is going to have to do with any of our numbers. And that was much of his emphasis today in this message from Governor Beshear.
I just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about the recent news of a new variable called Omicron in our fight against COVID-19. The first thing I'd say is something we said way back in the beginning: just breathe. There is a lot that we do not know about this variant. We'll know more at the end of this week and the next week. But we have been here before. We know not to panic. We know that the information will be forthcoming, and we will be transparent with that information, good or bad. It does appear that there is reason for concern, but not for panic. There are multiple mutations in this variant that could make it more transmissible, but we don't know either that or how effective the vaccines will be against it yet. What we do know is that being fully vaccinated plus getting a booster will provide some level of protection. So in this uncertain period where we wait, use it to get that booster. Pull out that mask again and wear it when you think it's appropriate, because even without Omicron, our cases have been going up again. If this hadn't been Thanksgiving week this last week, it would have been our highest week in 3 or 4 weeks. Our positivity rate now up over 8%, and that's cause for concern. Piece of good news, with the vaccinations over the long weekend, we are now above 60% of all Kentuckians having at least their first shot of hope. So, to get ready, make sure you're fully vaccinated, you get your booster, you wear your mask when it's appropriate. Just like in the beginning, we will learn more, and we will get through this. We will get through it together.
SSI and disability cases are harder to win these days. You need all the help you can get. If the government has turned you down, I will not. Many factors are considered when a claim is being processed, like your age, education, physical, and mental disabling conditions. When it comes time to winning your disability case, you should not face a federal judge alone. You need an attorney who is experienced, determined, hardworking, knowledgeable, and dedicated to helping you win benefits that you deserve. If you need help with your SSI or disability case, call me, Donald Wayne McFarland, and let me go to work for you.
The team at Appalachian Wireless wants to say thank you as they kick off the holidays with a special event, the Appalachian Wireless 30th Anniversary Holiday Sale. Appalachian Wireless is celebrating 30 years, and we want to say thank you with a holiday sale that will make everyone's holiday merry and bright. From now till the end of the year, visit us in-store or reserve online for an unbelievable sale and giveaway. We know what you want for the holidays because we are you. We are Appalachian Wireless.
Still a lot more to come. Bob Brunner in a moment. Right now, here's what's happening on tonight's McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar. First, let's say happy birthday to Ray Perkins. Happy birthday, belated birthday wishes tonight, Ray. Happy birthday to you. Belated birthday wishes as well. I think yesterday to Emily Marcelette. Happy belated birthday to you. A belated birthday wish going out to our friend Timmy. Timmy Barnett hit 60. Congratulations, and I would say but I think I already know, Tim, you had a pretty good birthday with a lot of family and friends. Happy birthday to you, my friend. And Ray Ann Singh, the 35th birthday today. Love Mom and Dad and a lot of family and friends. Happy 35th birthday to you. Now going on to calendar announcements. They have them out. They've got big, large, black cans out in front of Sayersville City Hall, the Sayersville Fire Department, the McGoffin County Rescue Squad, and the McGoffin County Health Department. A toy drive going on right now called Every Child Smiles on Christmas. Please donate new unwrapped toys for kids 0 to 14 years of age, under 14 or under, and you can do so to December the 14th. If you have any questions, call Mayor Pete Shepard at 367-5022. The city's collecting these gifts. They have some volunteers who are going to wrap them, and they're going to let parents who need to come and pick them up just in time for Christmas, in lieu of not being able to do the Christmas gifts with Santa after the big, of course, Christmas parade next weekend. So look for those. They'll be out until the 14th for all of us to donate. Please donate. And, of course, Candy Cane Lane is now open. Can't wait to check it out this year. 6 to 10 nightly, every night through Christmas. Kids, bring a letter to Santa. There's a mailbox there. Put a return address on it. You're probably going to get one back. And then, of course, the Christmas parade again this coming Saturday, the tree lighting ceremony at 5:30 across from City Hall, and a big parade. Four-wheelers, ATVs, side-by-sides can go through this year, but you have to decorate them. But they invite you to be a part of the parade as well. And I invite you to use our community calendar whenever you have something that you would like everyone to know about. Send that information to me, and I'll tell everyone about it. Birthdays and anniversaries, too. Obituaries, as you know, brought to you nightly by our friends at the McGoffin County Funeral Home. And I come into the studio today to find out that services were held yesterday for Matthew George Crace, 36 of East Point, formerly of Sayersville, who passed away Wednesday at his home, the son of the late Jack Crace and Joanne Robinette Crace, who survives. He's also survived by sisters Natalie Ann Crace and Jennifer Carol Connolly, and his brother Jack Brent Crace. Services once again held yesterday. Doc Hundley passed away on Friday. Bradley Herschel Doc Hundley at the age of 83. Son of the late Bracken and Audley Adams Hundley. He's survived by his wife Kathleen, son Keith, daughter Kathy Renee Russell, brothers Beecher and Roger Hundley, 4 grandkids and 4 great-grandchildren. Services were held earlier today in Doc Hundley's honor. Services are to begin this Wednesday at 1 for 78-year-old Lillian Tackett Howard of Stanton, formerly of Sayersville. She passed away Thursday. The daughter of the late Grimsey and Gladys Hundley Tackett. She was preceded in death by her husband of 58 years, Cletus Howard. She survived by son Anthony Howard, daughter Charlotte Howard Pearson, sister Pat Gullett, several grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and services in her honor start Wednesday at 1 from the Sayersville Funeral Home Chapel. Visitation will be Tuesday night, the night prior, after 5 o'clock. And Services are still, as I understand, to be announced for Timothy Lindsay, 70 of Twin Lick, here in Magoffin County, who passed away last Monday. He was preceded in death by his first wife, Linda Lindsay, and second wife, LaVonna Gale Lindsay. He's survived by his brother Ken, daughters Angela Ziegler and Krista Doran, sister Pam Sawyer, stepkids Chris Fisher, Michael Fisher, Bobby Fisher Lotz, and a number of grandchildren. Again, services to be announced at a later date through the Sayersville Funeral Home. A quick update on the search for a new superintendent of schools for the Magoffin County School District. The screening committee, which had been put in place, was to meet this evening at 5 o'clock to select their recommendations, which will be made then to the Magoffin County Board of Education. The posting for superintendent of schools officially expired today for that job posting, of course left vacant by retiring Superintendent Scott Helton. And that is all I have for you at this hour on that note, but I'll be keeping a close eye on any developments there as the process continues. Well, real quickly, I am out the door in a few moments, maybe after getting a quick bite to eat, to catch some high school basketball. Indeed, it is the season. Real quickly, though, I just want to, with all the computer problems that I had, I think we're running pretty smoothly today. Still yet to be determined what the exact root of the problem is. Engineers at Apple still trying to help me. Nevertheless, as we know, football, of course, wound down for our Hornets a few weeks ago in first-round playoff action against Lawrence County. The boys from Paintsville and the Tigers fell in the second round of the football championship series, 14-28 against Raceland after winning against Betsy Lane in the first round. But it was Johnson Central who was still alive and very well this past Friday night, to the point that they are now going back to Kroger Field after the third win in a row in Class 4A. They put out Letcher County Central 50-14 in the first round. Corbin in the second round, 34-13. Franklin County fell to the Johnson Central Golden Eagles this past Friday night at home, 42-24. That means they are going to Kroger Field this Friday evening at 8. Congratulations to the Golden Eagles and good luck. As for boys basketball, I'll go into it a little more detail tomorrow. There is one game tonight in the viewing area concerning any of the viewing area teams in Magoffin and Johnson County, and that's the Lady Hornets, who are tonight hosting Jenkins. I want to make sure I got that right. Yes, hosting Jenkins tomorrow night. The girls are at Betsy Lane tomorrow, then at Phelps on Friday, and then at Floyd Central on your Saturday. Highlights from their home and season opener on tomorrow night's program. Bob Brunner. Well, that's coming up next.
It's all right. We know there's going to be a lot of boxes open between now and Christmas. It's all right because we know what one of your favorites is going to be. Sure, it's here year-round, but for some reason, pot pies seem to taste a little bit better this time of year. Get one now at your Sayersville, Lee's Famous Recipe. Seasons are changing. Don't get caught in the cold. Call Magoffin County Heating and Cooling now. They have super affordable rates. They service all brands. They are a certified Platinum American Standard dealer and installer, and available with 24-hour service at 349-1058. At Sayersville National Bank, they know your house is much more than your home. It's an investment, and for many of us, the biggest we'll ever make. And whether it's for needed repairs and maintenance, or a new addition or renovation to give you some more room and more equity, let Sayersville National Bank deal with all the financial work and worry. Real and real competitive, hometown, homegrown, home improvement loans at Sayersville National.
All right, let's talk Bob Brunner for just a few moments. I think I'd really like to hear some of your thoughts when that intro came on at the start of the show as to just exactly what big changes may have taken place here. Probably welcome changes, I get it. It's Bob Brunner. Nevertheless, as I said a few moments ago, Bob has been a friend of the family since I was a small boy. And it all goes back to reporting and WSAZ, and we'll talk more about that in a few seconds in the following unedited interview that we just sat down and did after we'd had a meal on Thanksgiving Thursday. Bob, he's a wonderful, wonderful person, and he was a wonderful reporter. He's still doing a lot of wonderful things. I know I'm using that word a lot, but it applies. He's just a great guy. He loves coming back to Eastern Kentucky, as he worked here quite a bit with SAZ back in the 70s and 80s. He spent a lot of time there and a lot of time elsewhere, and he's still keeping quite busy. And I have been looking forward to sitting down and doing an interview like this, hopefully with more to come. Maybe more than once a year, we'll see, maybe not. But nevertheless, a few words from Mr. Brunner and I. I've dreamed about you doing that intro for a long time. I mean, I really have. And I know that a lot of folks enjoyed that. And a lot of folks are still sitting there in bewilderment right now. Well, I don't think that you recognize how recognizable you still are.
No, I don't think so. After all these years, it's been so many years. Coming to Eastern Kentucky for me is like a road trip through history. And driving down this year, it was like, why, there's Kentucky Power, and there's no coal. Mm-hmm. And I'm driving on Route 23, now the Country Music Highway, which never used to exist before. And it used to be that you would find lumps of coal littered along the road from the overweight trucks trying to avoid the enforcement. There's not a lump of coal anywhere in Kentucky. I'll be darned. That's very strange.
Very. Yeah.
Yeah.
Things have changed. Yeah, we had the wonderful opportunity to share a meal with you today, which was great. But I've been doing a little thinking, and anyone I think my age and older, we grew up with you. I mean, we did, Bob. We that's why I think that you don't really understand just how receptive this is going to be. This is going to be one of my top 10 shows here. In over a long period of time, but we grew up with you, and it wasn't just that you were there, and we had a limited number of channels, but we all, I think, gravitated towards you and a lot of your comrades at WSAZ.
Yeah, and I think largely because we were the only station that came into Eastern Kentucky regularly and covered Eastern Kentucky. I mean, I would on a regular basis go into Paul Patton's office when he was county judge in Pike County, and I would come in and see Tim Bostic here in Salyersville, and your mom, Sue Mortimer, was a correspondent for us and would clue us in when stories would happen. One of my favorite coal operators was a fella, I think his name was Ray Bradbury, who operated a coal company over in Martin County. He's one of the first strip miners who said, yeah, come on in, look, see what we're doing. We're being responsible, we're caring. And often we'd get called over here for something bad. A coal disaster. Yeah. Somebody got killed, somebody got in a wreck. But a lot of times we were over here just doing the day-to-day stories about life in Eastern Kentucky, and it's changed.
I want to talk about, just to refer to it, how I got started for a totally different reason that I'll hit you for in a minute. But if you don't care, just a quick summation of how did you end up in journalism, and how did you end up at WSAZ eventually?
The quickest summation is that as a child I was very nosy, inquisitive, and troublesome. And my college advisor basically said, this kind of disqualifies you from most professions, but for journalism it works. And it did. And being, nosy and troublesome, it works for a reporter. And I love nosing into other people's lives, and I loved finding out about things. So that's what got me there.
So how long a journey was it for you, and how long were you at where?
Well, I went to college at Southern Illinois University. I worked in both television and radio at the campus stations and at nearby stations there. And right out of college, my advisor told me, go to work for Boz Johnson in West Virginia. You'll get to cover every kind of story in the world, and you won't get stuck behind a desk. And in the first 3 years at SAZ, I covered the Silver Bridge disaster, the Marshall University plane crash, the Buffalo Creek Hollow disaster, and by 1972, at age 27, I had covered pretty much every major tragedy on the planet, and I was relatively just wet behind the ears.
Wow.
Yeah. Amazing trip.
How many years were you in television before your retirement?
With the exception of 4 years off for working for the governor of West Virginia, I served about 50 years in journalism.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's a pretty good segue. You put some pen to paper here as of late, and I've got an autographed copy of a book that was a long time overdue, I think.
Well, I couldn't write it when I was working because it tells a lot of stories about a lot of people in politics. And I was originally going to call the book Emperor Arch, the former governor, J Baby, the former senator, and others I have known. And the lawyers told me that if I put their names in the title, they could have more power to stop publication. So I cleverly changed the title of the book to Bob Brunner's Reporter's Recollections, and I never got sued. There you go.
We, I've been very honest with my viewers over 23 years I've been in this, Bob.
Wow.
23 years. And it started out of nothing. And I've been pretty honest about every time my anniversary rolls around. And my 20th, I kind of went into a little bit more detail. But, I started this show because I flunked out of school, came out of college, still very immature for my age, didn't know what I wanted to do, just knew I didn't want to leave home. And I had a creative something about me that I needed to express. And I've told everyone up front for years that, I'm here. This show exists. This newspaper, owning it now, and the other paper and everything else, because my mother said, well, we need a local news program. We have a weekly paper. It's all we have. We need, and that was because of her time being a stringer for you guys at WSAZ. And I just couldn't get out of it. I just couldn't come up with an excuse to get out of it. And I tell everybody, if there's I told the story. I told the story twice this past weekend, that if there's a record for signing up in public speech class in college and never stepping a foot in the door, I have it. And I think 9 is a good estimate. For the time I spent at 2 colleges before coming home without a degree, had to have it. It was a requirement. Never stepped a foot in the door. Finally, one teacher, I did here just before or right after the news started. I got through that course, barely. But at the root of that, and this is one of the things I want to sit down and not just to say thanks, but so, the 23 years I've done this show, now for the wonderful folks that I've got with me here, working with the Independent and everything that I'm very proud of accomplishing, you're at the root of that. If you go to the very root of how I got here, I mean, it's you and Mom's time spent at WSAZ. Without that, I don't know where I'll be here. I don't know.
It was his mother mostly.
Yes, but your influence and the interest in the atmosphere and the process and like you say, reporting, and that was where it all came from. And I thought I want to let everyone know that that's exactly indeed where how I kind of got here. In a long way around.
So, folks, he's making me responsible for him, and if that's the case, I'm very proud because he's done a great job for Eastern Kentucky.
And if I mess up, I'll come back and no. But seriously, and we still enjoy the stories and the time spent, and I thought people are going to really enjoy seeing you here. I wanted to thank you for that. Give me one of your time. It doesn't have to be here in McGoffin or Eastern Kentucky, but it can be. What's some of the shareable stories that
The single most frustrating story I ever covered was the Buffalo Creek Hollow disaster, because by the time this coal dam broke and this black water came down this hollow and killed 125 people and wiped out 500 homes, the only thing left was a beach, a sandy beach. And we showed up with our TV cameras and took pictures of a beach. And it was like, now to this day, you can go down that hollow. You can see that slag dam. You can see pieces of houses coming out of it. You can see pieces of cars coming out of it. But what was left was a beach. And it was, how do you let people know how awful this was when all you can show them is a beach?
Wow.
Yeah.
That'd be tough.
McGoffin County, the floods here, you always have the same flood, and it's cool, and it's very visual, and you
were here a lot.
When I was at Channel 3, we were here a lot.
You were here a lot.
And we knew exactly where to come, where to set the camera up, where the river was coming through town. We knew all of this. But at Buffalo Creek Hollow, worst disaster, flood disaster in the history of the region, beach.
Wow. All remember that forever. What? Besides coming here on Thanksgiving, what are you doing? Are you doing anything?
I am
moving?
defiantly retired. I'm chairman of the West Virginia Music Hall of Fame, and we're fighting as volunteers to keep the traditional music alive.
And I know that just real quickly, one more little shameless plug. Nothing wrong with that. I do it all the time. It's a lot of folks still travel to West Virginia, Ashland, and Huntington and shop. You guys have got a location, don't you?
We've got a museum and a history place right in the town center mall in downtown Charleston, and until they don't kick us out, we're going to be there. So, yeah.
There you have it. So, if you want to see Bob Brunner again, reminisce.
I'm volunteering there a lot, so there you go.
All right. My friend, I
Thank
can't
you.
tell you how much I appreciate you.
Good to see you,
Appreciate
young
your
man.
time. Now, was that not a treat or what? Thank you all.
Oh, that was so much fun, and I'm really going to start putting a little pressure on Bob maybe to come back a little more often, maybe, and do some fun things with us. It's great, just great to see him back here. All right, I gotta go. High school basketball tips off tonight. First game in the area is the Lady Hornets, and I've got highlights tomorrow. But I've got a weather forecast in front of me right now with a chilly one tonight of 29 degrees, partly cloudy, and a southwesterly wind of 6 to 15 miles per hour. And I've got a winter after that. I mean, we've got a nice little run here as we're going to end November and start December. 55 sunny, a little breezy tomorrow. You'll see winds southwesterly 6, 7 up to 15, 16, 18 miles per hour. But 55 sunny and a light wind tomorrow. 31 tomorrow night, so a little bit milder tomorrow evening. And then, watch it, still in the 50s Wednesday. More clouds than sun, but no showers. 55, 46, your high and low. Winds out of the southwest, all 4, 5, 6 miles per hour on average. And then, that's not a misprint there. That's Thursday. And that's 64 degrees under mostly sunny skies. Yep. Winter, winter, winter. 46 that night again, mostly sunny, mostly clear, start to finish for your Thursday. And while the first half of your forecast that you're staring at right now is completely dry, and there are a few shower chances in the second half that I'm going to flip to here in just a second, well, they're not that dramatic. Nope. 55 tomorrow, 55 Wednesday, 64 on your Thursday. And for your Friday, drum roll please, mostly sunny and 64 again, still dry. You will notice here at the bottom of your screen in just a second a 30% chance of some rain. That's mainly after midnight Friday night and still a low in the low 40s. And then we'll go back down to the mid-50s after being spoiled for a few days. But still, 55 Saturday, 55 Sunday, 54, 55 Monday. Nothing more than a little skiff of a chance of some showers and rain on your Saturday and Sunday that should make it for a nice little run.
And that will certainly wrap it up for tonight. A lot of news to get back to in now a little less than 24 hours. See you then. Thanks for watching.